Staci Franklin. I'm the owner and lead event planner for It's Your Day Weddings and Special Events. And this is where I give you tips and tricks to help you plan a stress-free wedding day. So the topic for today's discussion is all around the wedding budget, helping you create a wedding budget that you can stick to. And I want to give you 3 tips to help you with that process. So not sure if you know it or not, but the national average spend for weddings in the U.S. is right around $30,000. Now, to me, $30,000 is a lot to spend on one day. And you may be saying, well, oh my God, you're a wedding planner. This is how you make your living. This is what you do. Yes, it is. But let me quickly hurry up and say, I never want to help couples get into a situation where they are trying to have a wedding that they cannot afford. I never want a couple to be in a financial bind. I never want a couple to be in a situation where they are paying for a wedding months and years after it's taken place. So I always say that a wedding is a luxury. It is not a must. I'll say it again. A wedding is a luxury. It is not a must. So do not, you heard this from me, do not put yourself in a situation of planning this big wedding that you cannot afford. So the number 1 tip for you today is to come to an agreement, get on the same page about what that budget is going to look like, what it needs to be. So that's tip number 1. You want to be in agreement. You want to be comfortable. You want to know that both of you have agreed on what that budget is going to be. When you start out, one of you may think, oh, $10,000 is good. The other one may be like, oh, $50,000. Well, you two are nowhere in the ballpark with one another. So you're going to have to come together, discuss, and really figure out what that number needs to look like. And one of the ways to do that is really start doing a little bit of research as to what things actually cost. A lot of times people have no idea just what all goes into a wedding and what those items cost. For example, with food, I tell people all the time, you can't go to McDonald's really for less than $10. So how do you expect to get, say you're the couple that wants to serve a meat and 2 vegetables, how do you really expect to do that and feed, say, 150 to 200 people for $10? It just doesn't happen. It's very, very rare. It doesn't happen. Let's just put it like that. It doesn't happen. So you have to think about things realistically along those lines. So you want to do a little bit of research as you get ready to create and set what that budget number is going to be. And you have to come to an agreement and be comfortable with it and then move on with the rest of the process. So number 1, get on the same page. Number 2, you want to create a realistic guest list. And what I mean by that is that the number of people is equal to or is equivalent to how much you're going to spend. Number of people is equivalent to how much you're going to spend on food, definitely. Number of people is going to be equivalent to how many tables and table linens and centerpieces you're going to have. So all of that goes directly into your budget. So I would say, please create a realistic guest list. If Aunt Susie and Aunt Sally haven't been in your life since you were 2 years old, you may want to think twice about whether or not they need to be at your wedding. Let's just, be real about that. If it's a co-worker that, you just may speak to in the hall, when you're passing back and forth at work, do they need to be invited to the wedding? So those are the type of things that you need to think about, because the number of people has a direct impact on what you're going to spend, for your wedding. Also, I would say number 3 is you want to make room for last minute emergencies. And I have done one short little video snippet about this, but I definitely think this is so important because when you set your budget, you also want to be prepared if any last minute emergencies come up. So let's say you set a budget of $25,000 for your wedding. That's going to take care of everything. You want to take around 10% of that and set it aside. Put it in another account somewhere, act like it doesn't even exist. This 10% is going to be for you to take care of any last minute items that may come up that you just didn't plan for, that you didn't expect. So let's say, for instance, you have some extra people that are coming to the wedding that you weren't expecting. So that means you're going to have to add another table. Well, another table means some more table lengths. Another table means some more centerpieces. Another table means additional food. So let's say maybe you're going to end up being out of an additional $1,000. Well, if you hadn't set aside that last little bit of money, that emergency money, then you would end up overspending out of your overall budget. This way, you're not having to overspend. You had set this money aside just in case you needed it, and you're good, and you still haven't gone over your $25,000 budget. So that's what I mean by set aside last minute emergency money. So no matter what your budget may be, it may be $10,000, it may be $25,000, it may be $50,000. Set aside right around 10% that you're not going to touch, you're going to forget about, and just make sure that that money is used for any last minute items that come up that you didn't plan for. Whatever you have less the 10%, that's what's going to be your budget. That's what you're going to use for any and everything wedding related. So from there, that's what's going to determine your venue. It's going to determine your food, what type of food you're going to serve. It's going to determine what your florals and decor are going to be. It's going to determine if you're putting your bridal attire in there. It's going to determine that. All of that amount is going to determine what you're able to do, where you're able to have it, everything that you want to do with your wedding and create your vision. That's the budget that you need to work off of. So let's go back again. So number 1, you want to come to an agreement. You want to get on the same page about what your budget is going to be. Number 2, you're going to set a realistic guest list. This is going to help you tremendously. Think long and hard about who you invite. Is it worth the money? Think about it like that. A body equals money. So if it's long lost on Susie, Sally, that you haven't seen in a long time, do they need to really be there? If it's a coworker that you know just by passing by in the hall, do they really need to be there? Set a realistic guest list. And number 3, make sure that you set aside some last minute emergency money out of that overall budget. Again, if you have $25,000 budget, set aside $2,500. You're not going to touch. You're only going to use that if you need it for last minute emergencies. That remaining money is what you're going to use for your overall budget. I promise you, if you use these 3 tips to help you create your budget and go about, working your budget, it's going to help you at the end of the day. You're going to be so glad that you did that. For more tips on how to plan a stress-free wedding day, I encourage you to get a copy of my ebook, The Organized Bride. You can go to bit.ly/The Organized Bride. Click on the link. You'll be able to see the information you get and download your copy. bit.ly/The Organized Bride to get your copy of that ebook. For other information, please go to my website, itsyourdayweddings.net, itsyourdayweddings.net. I have all kinds of wedding packages and other tips and things there that can help you. If this video has been helpful to you, please be sure to like and share it with others that you think that it could help. I really do appreciate you taking the time to join me today. It's always great to share this information with people who are planning their weddings. It's an exciting time, so congratulations to you. Again, my name is Staci Franklin. I'm the owner and lead event planner for It's Your Day Weddings and Special Events. I enjoyed talking with you today, and I'll see you soon.